For the next 8 years, Mia couldn't stop wondering about the stranger who saved her on the worst night of her life. She never imagined that one cold December night, fate would put her in the exact position to save him right back. 8 years earlier, Mia was just 17. Her ride had left without her, and now she was stranded at a bus station 2 towns away from home. She was freezing, embarrassed, and completely out of options. She emptied her pockets for the 3rd time, hoping she'd somehow missed a coin. Nothing. She was still $2 short, and the last bus of the night was already boarding. Across the station, an older man sat quietly on a worn-out bench. His coat was more patches than fabric, and an old duffel bag rested by his feet. He looked like someone who'd spent far too many nights with nowhere to call home. Maybe that's why he noticed her. He slowly stood up, walked over, reached into his pocket, and held out 2 crumpled $1 bills. It was probably all the money he had. He smiled gently. "Looks like you need this more than I do tonight." Before Mia could even ask his name, he turned, disappeared into the rain, and was gone. Mia never saw him again. She climbed onto the bus, rested her forehead against the cold window, and made herself a promise. She would never forget what he'd done for her. The entire ride home, she couldn't stop thinking about him. How could someone who had almost nothing still choose to give? That question stayed with her for years. And she kept her promise. That rainy night at the bus station changed the course of her life. It was the reason she became a nurse. She wanted to be the kind of person who showed up for strangers, just like he had shown up for her. 8 years later, Mia was working the night shift in a busy city emergency room. Every shift brought another person having the worst day of their life. Her job was simple, to make those days just a little easier. Then one freezing December night, the paramedics rushed in with an elderly man. He'd been found unconscious on a sidewalk just a few blocks from the hospital. No identification, no family, just another John Doe fighting to stay alive. Mia jumped into action without hesitation. Warm blankets, an IV, vital signs. She moved through the routine she'd done hundreds of times before. But, for some reason, this patient felt different. She couldn't explain why. As she searched his coat for anything that could help identify him, an old photograph slipped onto the floor. The edges were worn from years of being carried around. Then the man slowly opened his eyes. Barely above a whisper, he said, "Thank you." The sound of his voice stopped her cold. She knew that voice. 8 years disappeared in an instant. She could hear the words as clearly as she had that rainy night. "Looks like you need this more than I do." Mia's hands froze over the chart. It was him. The stranger she'd never forgotten was lying right in front of her. She didn't say anything. She simply pulled up a chair, sat beside him, and held his hand, then she made sure he was warm. Sometimes the deepest gratitude doesn't need words. When he was finally strong enough to talk, Mia leaned in with a smile. "Years ago," she said, "you gave a stranded 17-year-old girl $2 for a bus ticket. You probably don't remember." His eyes filled with tears. "I remember," he whispered. "I remember every second." Before he left the hospital, Mia made sure he wouldn't be walking back onto the streets. She arranged a warm bed, a hot meal, and a caseworker who could help him find a real place to call home. After 8 long years, his kindness had finally come full circle. Funny how life works. Sometimes the $2 you give away on your own worst night come back years later, wearing scrubs, holding your hand, and making absolutely sure you are never forgotten.